for this time now is I get asked this question all the time. What is an algorithm and what does it mean? And that's in what context. Normally it's social media. So when we're looking at, Louisa, you're the tech expert for us. What is an algorithm?
Do you know, I've gone to Google and Googled what is the definition of algorithm? Because I feel like we have this misunderstanding of what it is. It is simply a step-by-step set of rules or instructions designed to perform a specific task, solve a problem, or complete a calculation. That's the keyword calculation. Much like cooking recipes, if an algorithm is followed correctly, it consistently takes a set of inputs and transfers them into the desired outcome. So I
Right.
wanted to read that out because I think we overthink what an algorithm is, this complicated, you know, highly complex thing. But what it's doing, it's taking information in, analyzing it, and then providing something at the end based on the set of criteria that it's following.
Yeah. And the most common one, as I said, is social media, what people talk about it. I've had so much, and especially over the last few months, because anybody who has been using it knows that LinkedIn has changed completely from what it was like 3, 4, 5 months ago, even. And it seems to be changing all the time. That's how people feel. And I had a new business owner that I was talking to recently, and they were saying about LinkedIn. Someone had said, go on, and they went, but I don't understand how that algorithm works. And I went, what do you think it's trying to do? And they think, what do you mean? They thought algorithm was like a group of people. It was like a sort of, I, it was something like a
I shouldn't
department.
laugh at that
I
because
know.
it genuinely is something I think people think is happening is there's a group of
Yeah.
people in a room making decisions every day about what the algorithm should be for that day.
Yeah, it was, what did they call it? I'd heard this before, maybe a Scottish term. It's all the little, it was all the men in the little grey suits sit in a room somewhere, make all these decisions, but they don't do it day by day. And I went, actually, no, it's nothing like that. But it's a good perception, but yes, but no, it's nothing
Yeah.
like that. And I said, is that, why did you think that? And she went, well, because somebody has to make a decision why they're changing these things. I
Mm.
went, actually, yes, you're spot right because these tools or these processes, algorithms only work by the information that's put into them and what they're looking for. So yes, somewhere along the line, there may be these guys in wee grey suits that sit in the wee room somewhere adding information in. But no, it is literally understanding the process that what you need to do. And it
Mhm.
was because she's saying two people she looked at put the same thing out, and one got hundreds and hundreds of views. The other one got really nothing, no engagement, no anything, but it was the same content. And I
Yeah.
went, it can look the same, but was it the exact same, the exact wording, or was something tweaked different in it? Because that will pick up on certain things. So I'll ask you the question you asked me then. What type of things does an algorithm look for?
Um, and I mean, an algorithm is code essentially.
Yep.
And so the code is looking for keyword string words that it will then provide in a context that it's like you put a keyword in here and then there's quite a complex script that's running to define what
Mm.
that keyword means. And then in
Yep.
the end, it's providing that keyword to people who align with it.
Yep.
So if I can kind of give you that sort of sense of it is calculations, it's taking something. And when we talk about writing, so a lot of people are using AI to write their content now.
Mm.
We're starting to recognize it quite easily. I mean,
Mm.
in the initial phases of people using AI, we didn't recognize the phrases or the terminology, but now it's quite obvious to spot someone who's blatantly just copied and pasted AI text to pass it off. And so what we're saying to people is, make it authentically you. Even if you use
Mm.
AI as your starting point, make sure that your voice is coming through on this because potentially the algorithm's going, these are AI keywords, key
Mhm.
phrases. Therefore, we're going to downgrade that because we can see that it's AI written
Yeah.
versus your own terminology. So that's why we often say use AI because it's going to benefit you, but
Mhm.
make sure that you're taking that content and repurposing it in a way that it actually is your tone of voice, your authentic self. Because the algorithm possibly could downgrade your messaging because it goes, well, this is AI, so
Mhm.
who's gonna care to read it? the ones that do really, really well can combine their audience, what's my word? Yeah, their specific audience that they're looking for, so their ideal
Yep.
clients, they speak to them extremely well. They use the
Hmm.
same terminology over and over again, so the algorithm trains on
Hmm.
what type of person they're looking for, and it aligns with their audience. So those are the ones that do well. So I often struggle with this because my audience is broad. I haven't
Yeah.
got my avatar, if you like, is getting there now, but it was never really strongly defined. You know, business owners is not a very
Hmm.
strong avatar.
Yeah.
Um, and so often what you're seeing is that those that get more visibility, it's because their information, their ideal clients align
Yeah.
with what they're saying, and their messaging is good. They often have people that will always like their posts, so the
Hmm.
algorithm gets to know who's clicking um, on their content, and that's what feeds the algorithm more. When it gets more of that information, it puts it back into the calculations.
Yep. And I think it does it for most people, especially newer business owners, is that they get an interpretation of what the algorithm is or what it could be looking for, and then it changes.
Mm,
So they're just getting used to that one way and trying to put things in. And I think the thing important you mentioned there, I hadn't thought before saying it was the keyword side. Because when you're talking about SEO, when they do that, when they talk about Google and they hear all these terms, the simple way of looking at all of them is just look for the right keywords. If you have the right keywords and phrases, all of that starts to become a little easier for you because it is educating the algorithm about what you do and who you're looking for. And it
mm,
doesn't matter if it's LinkedIn, if it's Facebook, if it's Instagram or TikTok or whatever it is. It's the same thing. If you've got the right keywords and you're consistent in your message,
yep.
that's the thing. It's the consistency part that I think they keep trying different things because they think that's what they need to do to get it right. Whereas if they just stayed consistent from what they were doing in the first place, they would actually find that algorithms, whatever one you're on, will pick it up a lot better because you're getting that message all the time. And as you said, it starts to recognize, ah, this person's good because they're not just telling everybody to buy from them. They're educating people. They're giving their own stories. They're putting things out to people, but it's the same, a similar message all the time.
Mhm.
And I think that worries some people because they say, well, if I put the same message all the time, is that not wrong? But actually, no. That's what keeps you apart from everybody else that's general. I say, like
Yeah.
a GP. You don't want to be like a GP. You want to be like a surgeon, a consultant, or that. Is having the right information for the right people.
Yeah, people give up too quickly. I think
Yeah.
that's very true. Um, do you know Mr. Beast, Tony? Have you heard of him?
I've heard the name. That's it.
Mm.
Yeah.
So Mr. Beast, I think he was I think he had the top YouTube view ever. I don't know, it was like 40 million. It's ridiculous. But anyway, he had posted a couple of months ago his years on YouTube. And he
Mhm.
started, I think, when he was 17 or 18, posting YouTube videos. And so for his first year, I think he had 247 followers.
Mhm.
And for the next year after, I think might have been maybe five to 600. From there, it jumped to 2,000. From there, it jumped to 500,000. From there, it jumped to 10
Mhm.
million. Like, so this, he was consistent though in the way that he did his videos. The format didn't change very much. So the sort of the way that he built up his YouTube channel was consistent.
Yeah.
But what he didn't go was, oh, the second year, well, we haven't had many followers. I'll completely change my format and start doing something else.
Mhm.
He kept the structure that he had set up himself and applied that. He might have tried things that were more daring, but the
Yeah.
way that he was presenting the information didn't change. And so when we talk about overnight successes taking years, that's often the way that algorithms work. It might take it 6 months to a year to really train on your messaging before it can really put you in front of the absolutely perfect audience that you're trying to target. And that's
Mhm.
the problem is if you post maybe once every couple of weeks, if you talk about different things all the time, so there's not a consistency, the algorithm can't know that that's what you're essentially trying to tell people about. So
Mhm.
um, I know that the scope of how much to post has changed.
Yeah.
What's your views on posting and how often and things, Tony?
Um, well, I'm not an expert in marketing or social media, but what I say to people is they don't need to be posting 2 or 3 times a day. In fact, it can go against them sometimes when you put too much. What, especially with LinkedIn, what they say really is 3 times a week is enough. So, for example, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that's enough as long as it's got a consistent message. Your content is very slimmer. You know who exactly you're trying to message to, and that's the important. But a lot for me is the amount of times you post is not always important as what you're posting. The people get too worked up. I need to post all the time, and they think you're getting somebody's face all the time by doing that. What you can actually become is irritating. So some
Yeah,
people, if they constantly see everywhere they go, they don't want that, and they're looking for the content that you're putting out and say, actually, that's really good. Then that anticipation builds for when your next thing comes out. And because it maybe a day or two, you've got people waiting for that, and then they start going. And that's what the algorithm starts to see, is you're getting the same sort of people all the time. And one thing that's so important about it as well, check the analytics of it. I check to make sure that the message is going to the right people. I
mm,
do this with clients and they went, I've never looked at that before, but well, what age group
yeah,
are you aiming at? And they'll say, I don't know, say 25 to 35. I went, so why we look on here is it saying everybody's senior and they're all like 40 and above? And they went, I don't know why that is. I went, because that's who your message is resonating with. So either you need to change your message to suit the younger age group you're looking for, or more than likely, that's the age group that you should be working with. Because that analytic is telling you these are the people that are interested in what you're saying. So if you keep trying to change it to get the people you think you should be working with, you've just lost all of that you've already gained. And that's an important part for people to do is when it comes to algorithms, understand the algorithm, but understand who you're working with. Use your analytics, learn from it, and say, right, this is what times they're on. This is what I need to be posting. This works. Why should I change it?
yeah. So everyone, Tony's saying that data is critical.
Ah, you had to
Oh,
get
like,
that part out, didn't
yay!
you? Yes, I had to get it. So I have learned something from working with you. Yes. Keep checking the analytics. But it's some we never look at as a new business owner. Nobody tells you that.
No.
You want to always look for validation. Your analytics gives you that. Look on there and you're actually seeing, because I was quite surprised with mine. When I looked at the age group and I was working with males in this age group, 45 to 55, it was a coach that did it with me last year, looked at the analytics and went, do you realise that that's not who you're working with? I went, yes, it is. I was so adamant. And then we looked at it and it was like 92% female is going on to that. And it was the age group was different. I went, I never thought of that before. And I went, Louise always telling me, look at analytics. I look at the views. I was looking at the engagement.
Yeah.
I
Look at
didn't
the
look at the
numbers.
detail. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
should have looked at the detail. They say it's always in the detail, checking that. And that's what I didn't do. And it was a big, major change for me in saying, actually, you know what? That is who I'm actually more comfortable speaking to.
Yeah.
And I just had like until I saw it in black and white, I would never have realised. And that's the power of the algorithm. Had actually put that out there to the people, had thought who I was speaking to, even though in my head I was talking to a different group. So
Mm.
that's the bit about the algorithm is you're right. That Mr. Beast example then, stick what you're doing with it, check it all the time and make sure that you go as close to that as you can. Right, I mean for them, what do those people actually want to hear more of?
Yeah.
And use that. And that, yeah, if we're saying that way, okay, data is king. Okay, I agree.
Excellent.